Hello, Trailblazers. Welcome to the Trailblazers Palette Podcast. I'm your host, Sancha Marshall, and today I'm thrilled to welcome Amy Nordby, a remarkable artist whose journey intertwines the beauty of abstraction with the precision of graphic design. Born in Connecticut and fueled by a dual passion for the arts and sciences, Amy has traversed the surreal influences of Dali and Titan to her own distinctive abstract style. Her work, deeply rooted in a Buddhist philosophy and a profound admiration for science and nature, invites us to explore the limitless possibilities of the subconscious mind. Through a blend of mixed media, Amy creates ethereal, inspiring pieces that encourage us to reflect, explore, and discover. Join us as we delve into Amy's artistic voyage, her intuitive creative process, and how she navigates the modern world with her art. Amy, a warm welcome to the Trailblazers Palette Podcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So to start out with you, if you can tell us a bit about yourself and what led you to becoming an artist.
Okay, well, I'm an artist from Connecticut. I grew up in a family that had a lot of artists in it. My uncle, my grandmother, my grandfather, long line of artists. Been exposed since I was little. My uncle especially was an oil painter, and he would take us to museums as kids, and that's how I started, really, being interested in art. Then in high school, my junior year, I think it was, a boyfriend of mine took me to the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and I saw Salvador Dali. I saw his work, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So the following year, I took an art class, and that's when I started painting. And then I wanted to be an artist. My father's like, well, you want to eat, so why don't you do graphic communications when I went to college? So I was like, okay, I did that with a fine art minor. So that was a lot of fun. Painting. My teacher was extremely laid back, my professor, and he just let me go to town when we did figures because I got bored. After 4 years, I was bored. So I was making them into Vulcans and, just anything other than what they were. Put them in a weird position. And he was like, okay. He didn't know what I was on. I wasn't on anything. I was bored.
Yeah.
But he let me go to town with it. So I was like, okay, cool. So when I left college, I became a graphic artist at a print shop. And I did that for 19 years. I was doing that. And I would paint on the side. I would go in spurts painting. And then when I had my daughter in 2012, the job right before I had her, the job's like, oh, we sold the business and, well, my services are no longer required. I was like, okay. So I took a couple years of just taking care of my daughter until she was like 3. And that's when I was in a crisis on what to do with my life. And I was like, I think I need to start painting again. And I started painting and just haven't stopped. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So something stopped.
It's something that's been a part of your life right through then, and something that you've kind of naturally gravitated towards, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely in the genes.
Yeah.
It's definitely in the genes. It's taken a turn, because I was originally surrealist. I was doing surrealist stuff, and then it just sort of morphed into this more abstract thing.
Yeah,
I would say more intuitive than abstract.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's a different process now than I was then. I
Yeah.
had an idea and I would paint the idea. Now I have no idea and just let things go where they may,
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was
you
going to
know.
ask you about that, like how your and process has evolved over the years of doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would have a plan to an idea in my head, and of course it never comes out good the way it is in your head. And I got tired of that. I got tired of that battle.
Mm.
I had one piece that came out close to how I envisioned. When did I do that? That was '06, I think, 2006 was the first piece. So from '89 to to then, all my pieces, it just wasn't making me happy,
Yeah.
you know. So that one piece, it was called Mojo,
Mhm.
and I did
That's
it with,
that's really fitting.
because I felt like, oh, I got my mojo, I got it. It came out the way I wanted it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and I had originally in high school it was acrylics. In college, I moved to oils, and then back to acrylics. And I worked with acrylics for a while. I worked with gouache when I was doing gouache. That's when I did the mojo, was with gouache. So it's not very permanent,
Yeah.
but it looks really cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And then when I started painting again in 20, well, it wasn't 2020, it was 2015, I think. Um, I just picked up acrylic again. I was
Mm.
back to acrylic. So, and I sat there and I had 5 paintings I was working on at the same time
Yeah. Yeah.
when I went back to it. It's like, I need to get out of my own head.
Mm.
And was working with 5 at a time at the kitchen table. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, well, this ain't working. I was like, then I think my husband suggested a table down in the basement, which was a
Mhm.
small little table, but it worked.
Yeah.
And then it got bigger and bigger. So
And then you spread out and take over the whole space.
yes, yes. And I share the space with him because he has a
Mm.
train set, and I share the space with my mom because she has some of her knitting stuff down here and her
Mm.
spinning stuff. So it's but I think I've taken over most of the space,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So yeah.
And so, what is your preferred medium now to work in, Amy?
Ooh, mixed. I don't like to stick, which is one thing limits.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanna be able to move around,
Mm.
and there's certain things that one medium will do versus another.
Very true.
Like neo colors will bring out that pop of color
Mm.
where I can't get through acrylic.
Yeah.
So I'll mix those two constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly. I'm very happy with those neo colors.
Yeah. They're beautiful. And I think, because, and talking about like your resin work too, it's like, it's quite
Hmm.
sublime. It's like pops. It's amazing.
Yeah, and with resin you can even go even further. You can mix. I've mixed oil-based stuff in there
Yeah.
and acrylics, and you're not having a problem with adhesion because it's encased in resin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, you know. Um, but yeah, I do love working with resin. It's just time factor,
Yes.
of mixing it, and once you start the process, you got to finish. It's,
Hmm.
you know, so uh, yeah,
And
I
do you,
do like working with it.
and do you, and because I imagine with the resin you have the layers, so it's and sanding them
Mhm.
back. That's probably quite time consuming as well.
Yeah, well, it's not too bad the
Mm.
sanding part. If you especially if you have an automatic sander, a battery operated sander is much better than trying to do it by hand.
Yeah.
Because I've done both, and the automatic one's so much better. But yeah, the layers you can do with it. possibilities, endless
Yes,
on what you
yes.
can do.
Because I know in the
Um,
time I've known you, Amy, I think you're definitely somebody who you experiment and you
mhm.
also know the technical side of what can go together. Like you're quite an amazing mixed media artist.
Yeah, it's things you have to keep in mind,
Yeah,
definitely, with mixed media, like Neocolors. Even though it's water-based, the Neocolor 2s, I still don't like to put anything on top of it.
yeah,
Once the Neos go down, I can't add any more. So I
yeah,
have to know, all right, am I going to add any more? Okay, no, okay, I'm good to go to that process,
yeah,
you know. So it's constant keeping that in mind,
yeah.
you know.
So talking about, I guess, like the creating mixed media, how do you overcome, I guess, if you have a creative block or you feel like you need to spark new ideas?
I I don't usually have a block.
Yeah.
If I'm sick, then I start having a real block on direction.
Mm-hmm.
I can't focus. When if I'm getting ill, but it hasn't shown up yet, I already
Mm-hmm.
know
Yeah.
because I can't work.
Mm.
That's the thing about intuitive, man. If you're sick, you're gonna have issues moving forward.
Yes, true.
Uh, with the 365, it's like I have no choice. I have to throw something down, and I just throw it down, and then eventually something will pop.
Yeah.
You know, you just keep on working, 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 and then something's like, oh yeah, now I got this idea. I'll do this. And it just comes together at that point. But
Yeah.
you're going it sort of blind and diving into the deep end and having no clue.
Yeah. And
It's
I was going to bring that up, Amy, because for people who don't know, you've done like 365 days of art. I think,
hmm
have you done it a few times now where you,
yeah.
if you can just tell us a bit about that and what the parameters were around it and creating?
Okay, let's see. The first year I did it completely digital. It was
Yeah.
one piece of artwork, one photo of a piece of artwork, and I manipulated it 365 times.
Yeah.
But that just didn't, it opened up some possibilities for me because I was doing things that I wouldn't normally do in a real life piece, like
Mm.
leaving brush marks. So that sort of eased me into doing it on paper or canvas or whatever. I think the first year was like you couldn't, or the first year real. The parameter was you had to start it and finish it within the 24-hour period. That was hard.
Yeah.
That was very hard to do because you couldn't work ahead and you have to compensate for drying time. So you get a little creative on, okay, how to speed up that process. Um, but again, going at it, it was like, all right, just throw down some colors and just, let the process work.
Mm.
So now I forgot the question.
Yeah, I was just saying about what that 365 days was for you and
It's
yeah, the
yeah,
parameters around creating within that.
yeah, yeah. It had to be original, so it wasn't like you could go look online and get an idea.
Mm.
It had to be original. It had to be either on paper or canvas. Size didn't matter on that. You can use whatever medium as long as it was original, your original idea, and you did it within that 24 hours.
Mm.
That was tough.
Yep.
That was really tough.
Yep.
On the second year, it was okay, you can work ahead, which was it took that edge off.
Mm.
It
Mm.
took it took that edge off, and I had a lot of fun,
Yeah.
doing it because you test out new things,
Yeah. Because I think
you
seeing
know.
your art evolve in that year was quite amazing.
hmm
Just because you're doing so much, and I think you had other artists join you, didn't you?
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
Marshall Shear, Nydia. we did it the first year and continued on. David Ayers, I think, did the first year. I think he did the second year. I'm not sure. You know, people start to do it, and it is hard. It is
Yeah, it
very,
is hard.
very
I think
hard.
I got 30 days in, and I was like, wow,
Uh,
even that was intense.
it's very tough. It's tough when
Yeah,
you're raising kids
yeah,
and you got other commitments. It's very, very, very tough.
yeah,
It's like the first year I was like, oh, I'll only spend up to 2 hours on it. That's it.
yeah,
But yeah, that went out the window. I was spending all day on it. I was gonna, take as long as I needed to take to
yeah.
finish a piece. But I did notice that there was a progression. Like I'd be working on, a line of pieces, do a
Mm,
piece and work doing one technique, and then an idea would pop on trying something different, and then it would
mm,
morph, and then it would move to a different kind of way of doing things.
yeah,
And that's how all of the years have been. This is
yep.
my fourth year doing it real. The last year was 2022 was last year that I had done it, and I hated it from the moment I agreed to do it to the very end. I hated every single day.
Yeah.
I was fighting it. I'm just like, I can't believe I said I would do this, but I didn't want to quit.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I was
was
going to say it took a lot to keep going because I think I would have quit.
I would not quit. That
Mm,
was the thing. I just went. I'm stubborn.
yeah, yeah,
I'm very stubborn. I was not gonna quit.
yeah.
And then this year, I forgot because I wasn't gonna do it up until December 31st. I was like, no, no way would I do that again.
Mm, mm,
And then I think I was talking with my mother about it, and I
mm,
was like, I was like, the world needs art,
yeah.
needs uplifting,
Mm,
something to hope for. So screw it. I'm gonna do it again.
yeah, yeah.
But this time I'm happy with it.
And so you're
That's
doing it, and do you have anyone doing it with you, or it's just on your own this time?
Nydia and Patty are
Yeah.
doing it, and it's fun. Ruth,
Mm,
Ruth, I think is doing it too.
yeah,
Um, it's tough. It's tough when
yeah.
things come up, you know. Um, the second year I think was what, 2020. The first year I did it 2019 and
Mm,
2020 I did. 2020 it wasn't too bad because everybody was in lockdown. So it's
yes.
like, okay,
We can't do anything else. We may as well do
can't,
art.
yeah, can't do anything else. Do this. And then 2021 I took off. 22 I did, which was the one I just really didn't want to do. I'm
Hmm.
doing it this year. I'm having fun.
That's good. That's
Having
good.
fun.
And how have you
Yeah.
found it's evolved, like from doing it back in like 2019 to now?
Um, let's see. I notice that if I have something in the works and I just have to finish off some fine details on the day before, right? And the day of, I do some fine details. I'm fine. I feel happy, relaxed. If I haven't started anything and I have to get it done that night, I lose my mind.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm stressed. Don't bother talking to me because I'm going to be
yeah.
cranky. You know,
It's a bit
it's just,
frustrating.
if I, there is a point when you're working on it where you know the direction it's going to go in, and then
Mm,
it's like, okay, I just have to do it, and I'm fine. If I don't know where it's going, I'm a little cranky.
yeah,
I'm just a little
yeah.
cranky. So,
Yeah, I was going to say with working intuitively like that on your pieces, like you do, because you said it evolved to you
hmm
working intuitively. Um, like, how do you work past, I guess, life getting in the way? Is it just a matter of I've just got to do that, so I do, or
yeah, I just go in there and just let my hands do the work and not
mm,
think. If my
yeah,
head gets in there, I'm gonna take forever. I
Yeah, because I
can't
know
be
I
thinking about it.
struggle with that. I often go like on how I'm feeling. It's like if I don't feel like doing that, I won't do that. So so you kind of have
Hmm.
to, I guess, push past it or do it anyway, don't you? Regardless of
Yeah.
how you're
Uh,
feeling on in the moment.
yeah, exactly. You just do it, and you just don't think about it. Just do it.
Mm.
And if it comes out
It's
good,
kind
great.
of yeah, it's kind of like a diary entry. You're gonna write it down anyway. You'll create it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. There's been some pieces this this year. I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah.
And then I just throw something down, and then I finish it up, and then I look at it, like, I don't like it. Leave the room for an hour, come back, I'm like, actually, quite like this.
Yeah, yeah.
That looks pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that evolution too. It's like just
Yeah.
yeah, stepping away, coming back, and
Yes. Yes. Stepping back. Sometimes I pace. When I pace,
yep.
I get an answer sometimes.
Mm.
I pace for a while. I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. Let me try this. All right, go back
Yeah.
into the studio and give it a whirl, and it comes out pretty good.
Mm.
I mean,
Mm.
I like my work.
Yeah. No, you do beautiful
Yeah,
work, Amy. And I think
thank
that,
you.
and I loved your is the neon pieces
Mhm.
and the mixed media pieces that you'd done. I think it was a couple of years ago now,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure. Did you have some sort of webbing and that in it as well?
Yeah, probably. Webbing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
quite.
Yeah, I actually started working with the neo colors, or not neo colors, the neon colors this
Mm.
year, because I started to before I didn't want to use them because of the light fast rating, it's
Yeah, that always
garbage
puts
on it.
me off too.
Yeah, and then I'm like, we can all just blow up at any minute, so why am I not using it? Who
Yeah,
cares if it lasts? I don't care.
yeah.
At this point, I'm lacking of the caring and the longevity
Mm.
to a
That's actually
degree.
quite. Yeah, that's interesting because I think that that has actually stopped me from using like maybe inks or something in the past because
Mhm.
you're wanting to be that professional artist where things will last beyond you,
Mhm.
and so I won't use it because it's like well you know but I love what you actually said there. That who cares? You may as well create the piece or make that because sometimes
Yeah.
it's more about now than
Yeah.
200
It's
years from now when no one
yeah.
may care anyway.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
that's the point that I've gotten to this year is like, you know what? I'm gonna use those neo colors.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I'm just gonna use them. Neon. And just the one thing I won't use is alcohol ink. I will not use alcohol ink. That's like a
Yeah. Well,
beast.
that's actually what I was referring to when I said
Yeah,
inks,
when
and
you said ink,
that is
I sort
something.
of knew what you were talking about. Yeah, I won't use it because it's like a monster. It just the dye just goes everywhere and it won't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
So that's one beast I am just not gonna play with. Just not
Yeah.
gonna
And
play
as
with
soon
it.
as the light hits it, it loses all.
Yeah, when you mix alcohol ink in resin, some colors just disappear.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's it just vanish. I mean, it's in
The
there when
vanishing artwork.
it starts off. It's in its fluid form, and
Yeah, which could be
then
quite beautiful, but then
you come back after the resin has cured and it's
wow.
missing. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to play with that,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
No.
know.
I can completely understand.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd gone from watercolors and I did try alcohol inks, and yeah,
Hmm.
they just faded. So I'm like, I have to do Indian inks, which I don't enjoy as much. But yeah, it's just a matter of experimenting, isn't it?
It is. Have you tried the I'm gonna cheat and look the Dr. Phil Martin's Indian ink?
No, I haven't because I think when I looked at them, they were very hard to get here, but I should give them a go because I love the vibrancy of them.
They're excellent and they're pigment
Yeah.
based. You
Yeah.
know, I love them. They're they're sort of hard to get here too,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but you can order them online from their site.
Because and I think because do they have a couple of different lines of different products?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
they do. They have the Indian ink. They
Yep.
have different types of watercolors. There's some that are pigment based and some that are dye. So you
Okay. And
gotta,
the dye ones fade, I think.
yeah, probably because they're
Yeah.
dye,
Mm.
but vibrant. But the best, I love the Indian ink.
Yeah.
It is super vibrant. Um, I've been this year I've been using a lot more Liquitex ink, acrylic
Ah,
ink,
yeah. Yeah.
and I have what else over here? My stash, Amsterdam.
Oh,
I like
yes. Yep.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I,
I've got some mixed media to do coming up, so I'll be experimenting.
oh, they're great. They're great. All of them. Great, great.
Yeah.
Especially Bombay. Bombay is my favorite.
And that's the one you just showed, which is the Dr. Martens one,
Yeah, the
the
Doc
Bombay one.
Martin. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. The magenta, turquoise, and yellow are
Yeah.
a fabulous combination.
Mm, mm.
I can't even tell you. They're a fabulous combination.
So, Amy, I was going to ask you a couple of years ago about your journey with Tourist Gallery
Mm-hmm.
because I just remember following you on Facebook and exploring this beautiful online gallery of all your resin artworks where they were talked about. And yeah, if you can
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about that.
yeah, they contacted me. I was in a Facebook group, and that's how they found me. Um, and they contacted me. I figured, oh, another scam, you know.
Which you do as an artist because you get a lot.
Yeah, you get
Mm,
you get more scams than real people, but
yeah.
this was a real group. Um, and they had this beautiful online gallery curated by Ferdinand, and they're like, oh, we're very interested in some of your pieces for a gallery. Okay, and they put out a magazine with featuring artists and their work. And I did that. I was part of that for a couple of years until
Mm,
I
mm,
think 2021 or 2022 when they revamped their whole website, and
mm,
um, I think my stuff was taken down at that point,
mhm.
which is, good in a way because when you're attached to a gallery, those pieces are attached to that gallery. If I sell it, I
Yes.
am sharing the profits with them. If
Yeah.
they sell it, obviously, they're sharing the profits with me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it sort of puts it in this limbo land,
Mm,
that I'm not that fond
yeah.
of that limbo land. But they did in 2020 before the pandemic. They were part of Fort Lauderdale's art show down in there, where they put the art in these houses, these mansions that were up for sale. So it was like sort
That's
of a
really cool.
twofer. People could
Yeah.
look at the house if they were interested in the house and, buy art. So
Mm.
I went down for that, which was something I was surprised that I did because I got on a plane. I hate to fly. I went by myself and I had the best time.
Yeah.
It was an experience. It really
Yeah.
was a fabulous experience. Got to meet some really wonderful artists that are part of
Mm.
the Tourist Set family. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then the pandemic hit and blew everything up. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Which it did everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, it changed things.
Yeah. And I think as artists, I think we're still, I don't know, I am finding my feet after that, what it looks like now. you
Yeah,
know, could
definitely.
that happen again? It's just, yeah, it was quite surreal.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely still feeling the effects of that.
Yeah.
And, it's just trying to find the way, get the art
Yeah.
out there, you know?
That's it.
Because,
And I liked what you said before too about, well, the world does need art. And it is that
mm-hmm,
uplifting, I guess, corner of the world that we create in and share.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Breitbart had his quote of politics is downstream from culture. I think I'm
Hmm.
probably chopping it all to poop, but art is culture, and there's always been art from the
Yeah.
beginning of caveman days. There was always
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
It's not going away.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know,
true, true.
we
It'll evolve and
it definitely evolved from the cave paintings,
yeah.
but it is, a reflection of society,
Mm.
you know. So, and I have noticed in the past few years a change. eh, Like there's way more intuitive artists today,
Mm.
you
Mm.
know, and I think that's probably the next, art phase, art
Yeah.
period is
Yeah.
intuitive,
Yeah, absolutely. And
you
that
know.
expression of, like I was saying before, like that diary entry of,
Yep.
you know, it isn't necessarily based around skill or whatever. It's just that expression of you and in your place in that point in time.
Yeah, when you do it intuitively, you're definitely tapping into the subconscious.
Yeah.
So whatever you're painting is where you are subconsciously coming to the conscious level when
Yeah.
you reflect on it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, now I see why I've done honeycomb patterns. I know what that
Yeah.
means,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. And
know?
even like, like we talk about that, following the muse
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we don't know why we're doing something until you reflect back later
Yes,
with that
exactly.
hindsight.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's very, very true.
Yeah.
You know, you learn a lot about yourself when you're looking at your piece, like, okay, why did I do that? Oh, okay. I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. I get what I'm supposed to know,
Yes.
sort of thing.
Which I think is removed. And the difference with the intuitive art as to something else is, if you're meticulously planning something out, like the colors you're going to use, the imagery you're going to use,
Mm-hmm.
you can't, it kind of gets in the way of that intuitive process, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it does. If you're not willing to veer from what you
Yes.
want,
Yeah.
you have to be willing to be flexible and throw caution to the wind.
Yes. Which I think can be difficult.
It is very difficult, but I think that frees you.
Yes.
It allows you to be free
Mm, mm.
if you do that. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah,
You
and that's
know?
true. That's true, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also, I mean, you're letting your soul out there, your inner
Yeah.
subconscious,
Yeah.
and letting people know, oh, you're how you think. And that's
Mm.
scary for a lot of artists.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's why a lot of artists copy other people's work
True.
because
True. Yeah.
they're scared of letting their inner self out.
Yeah, and you can usually tell, I don't know if you feel this, like when you look at an artwork, you feel something more or a connection
Mm-hmm.
and I don't always have to like an artwork now to appreciate what was put into it.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's true. I appreciate everybody if it's original. I appreciate the work.
Mm.
It doesn't look,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if I quote unquote like it. They tried and they were putting their soul out there, and that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're
No.
not cameras. We don't have to
No,
be
and we're
perfect.
not robots, or we
Right.
don't, churn out the same thing day after day.
Right. Right. It's
Yeah.
authentic. I think people want authentic. I think they're looking for it in society today,
Yeah.
you know, because we're being bombarded with a bunch of just non-authentic thought.
Yeah, yeah, all the time, and
Yeah.
through multiple channels.
Yeah. Well, like AI art. I am not a big fan of AI art,
Mm, mm.
you know. It's, a computer cannot create original anything.
Yeah,
They're
it's
taking
not going
bits
to
and
have.
they're,
Yeah.
they're taking bits and pieces of other people's work,
Mm, mm.
and
Yeah,
that's
I have very mixed emotions about AI. I can see the benefits where people can use it and in business and, medical industry and things like that. But I can also see where it's really wrong for art. Yeah, the
it
way,
is.
Mid Journey and things like that can take a piece and then people can make money from that, from an original artwork. Or yeah, it's quite, like I said, mixed emotions.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take much to plug in, oh, I want this, this, and this, and this, and
Yeah,
the computer creates it. Well, you're not an artist. You just,
no, yeah,
that's not creation,
mm,
you know. Sit down and paint me something.
yeah.
Or
Something that's
or
from here, and it does. The AI stuff feels quite empty, and
it's
so I think that's where
empty.
art will always have a place, is because it's not human.
It's organic. That was the
Mm.
thing with the digital work I was doing. A lot of digital art is very sanitized. It's very
Yeah.
clean. And art isn't supposed to be clean.
It's a bit more like life, isn't it? It can be
Yeah,
quite messy.
it's organic,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that's why I don't like it as much at all.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like it. Just don't like it. Now, if you can paint what you're plugging in and paint that, then I'll give you credit.
Yeah.
Not having the computer do the work for you. It's a tool. It's useful. A computer is
Yes.
useful in creation, but not creating itself is no.
Solely that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So Amy, talking about like creating and that, how do you balance your desire with what you want to create and what is like selling in the market?
Um okay. Well, here's another thing this year. I don't care if it sells. It's not
Yeah.
about money. Well, it was never about money. I would just wanted to sell, but now
Yes,
it's
which is understandable. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to give my stuff away, but
Mm,
it's I if it sells, it has no bearing.
yes. No, I was just talking about balancing
Okay,
your desire with what you want to create and what may sell or is selling.
okay. I don't care what's selling.
Mm,
It's I've I've just I stopped caring. Well, I don't even think I've ever really cared what's
no,
selling. I
and I
just
just say with you, because there's that freedom in your art and how you create, that it was that in itself is nearly a selling point for your art, is that
hmm
I guess people who buy it know that it is original, know that it has come from that place.
yeah. That's a yeah, definitely. Um, I try when I want to do something in the art. I want to create this. It, it just turns out awful. It does not turn out well.
Yes, there's a block there or something. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just can't. I have to say no, not today.
Yeah,
It's just not gonna go. That's why I think I don't do commission work because it's like I
yeah.
don't want that headache.
Well, that's actually what I was going to ask you next. Is about commissions,
Yeah, no,
and yeah,
I've, d-
how you
I've
feel about them.
I don't like doing them. I'll
Yeah.
create a piece. Oh, you have a
Mm,
suggestion for a color? Okay, I could
mm,
totally go with that. But I don't like doing it.
yeah.
I don't like doing it
Yeah.
because I never end up liking it. It'd be like the one piece I don't like.
And I have found that personally. I've enjoyed commissions I have done just because
hmm
I like how my art can make somebody feel. But for me, the process is really restrictive, just because I do have somebody else's input on the stages of the art and whether they like it or not, or like the colors. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel for me, I personally can't be the best artist that I can be by doing commissions.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I get a bugaboo.
Yeah.
That's that's when I'm gonna have issue uh, with block.
Mm.
You know, I'd rather just do a piece. You like it? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and if
definitely.
and if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, where someone's connected with something that you've done just because you've wanted to do it is can be really amazing, I think.
Hmm. When you want to do something, amazing things happen. When you're
Yes.
forced to do something, that's when you don't do your best work
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
You know, I know I did notice that this past winter I went to a school concert and they
Mm.
had, the different grades playing their instruments, and then they had the a bunch of kids that wanted to join a after school group playing music. And the quality of those kids was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
because they wanted to play,
Yeah.
you know, versus the ones that are forced. It's for a class.
Yeah.
There is,
When there's that underlying desire and drive,
yeah,
um, yeah,
they,
that would be my experience with unschooling kids, is that
mm-hmm,
once you get out of the way and you allow that trust in what they innately want to do,
mm-hmm,
it happens really quickly, and they gain the skills and the desire to perform, or to the word I'm looking for is to achieve what they're wanting to achieve really
mm-hmm,
well. Yeah,
yeah,
it just comes together and it doesn't have to be forced.
right. Yeah, you definitely do your best work when you're not pressured into doing it,
Yeah, yeah,
from an outside force.
yes.
Other than the
Which I guess,
stubbornness.
when it comes to earning money and all of that,
Hmm.
it can be a bit of a fine line, can't it? A balancing act.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be nice to make money, but if I
Mm,
don't, that's fine too. I'm still
mm.
gonna do it.
Yes,
Still
yeah,
gonna do it until all my supplies have run out,
yeah.
which will take a long, long time.
You probably, yeah, like most artists, I think we've got a lot of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny though, you go out and you get something and you put it aside, and you don't use it, and then one day it's like, "Ah, I got the perfect thing for that." And you start using it. It's like, wow, no wonder why I bought it, sort of
Yeah.
thing. That goes with the whole intuitive thing. You don't
Mm.
know why you need it, but you need it, but
Yes.
it'll become clear later.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
not, it's a good excuse to go art shopping.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
definitely.
pretty. I like that. And yeah, you do end up using it. I know I do that with colors. It's like, oh wow, that's
Mm.
beautiful. I love what that color does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah.
then that translates into how you're using it in the piece.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's a certain energy, I think, that goes along with that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So Amy, how would you say that you balance the creating side with the marketing side of art?
I
Like,
balance it very poorly.
mm,
Basically, very poorly.
yeah.
You know, um, the first year doing the 365, it was great. I put the
Mm,
price, everything was $15. Didn't matter what
yep.
size, just $15 here, you know, and that's great. But, yeah, that didn't work so well after that, you know. So I don't put a price on there. I don't know if people realize it's for sale. I'm very
Mm,
bad at marketing, but, just getting it out there,
yeah.
on social media across different platforms,
Mm,
you know. and try to
Yeah,
keep
I know.
I try to keep the story short now and not ramble.
Yeah,
I was like, the shorter the better, but write
short and
something
sweet.
about it, you know.
Yeah. I know I struggle with the marketing a lot. I think that
Mm-hmm.
as soon as I go, there's a piece that's good enough to kind of put out there for sale, and then once I hit that sort of selling or trying to market side of things, or if I sign up for a marketing course and that, I always find my creativity goes out the window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's easier to market other people's stuff than it is my own,
Yes, yes, yeah, maybe.
you know.
And that's okay. I think that it's I guess finding what works for you if you can, but that, like you've said, the creating is important to you, and that having that, we don't have to be multitaskers. We can just focus on what we have here, because if we
Mm-hmm.
try and do that, it's going to lessen
Yeah.
the intuitive process, or
Yeah.
the way we create.
Yeah. And when you're posting stuff on social media, you gotta watch out about oh, you can't post it here if you're selling, sort of thing. You can't, and
Yes.
you try to keep everything in mind, and I
Mm.
can't,
Yeah.
so I was like, all right, well, across the board, I won't put it's for sale, but it's for sale.
Yeah.
Anyone's interested.
Yes, I know, 'cause there's a lot of art groups do that. They say you can share your work. This is on Facebook.
Yep.
That you can share your work, but not it can't be for sale,
Yeah.
which is odd. But anyway.
Yeah. I've had, I had sales, but
Mm.
I don't know. I'm just not concentrating on that part.
Yeah, yeah. Which
Yeah.
is,
It's like, how do you sell something? How do you sell art? Because I
yeah.
mean, I can sell, a roll of tape. I know how to
Mm.
sell a roll of tape. Tape has a use.
Mhm.
What's art useful for? I mean, I've been thinking about that forever.
Yeah.
What is the
And
benefit?
I was going to ask you, like, how in the past when you've sold pieces, how has it impacted the people who have bought it? Like, have you got any stories around?
No, no, not that I know of. I mean,
Mm.
they thank me. They like the work, but I haven't heard anything impactful.
Yeah.
You know. Hmm. That's a great question.
Yeah,
I
it's
need to
interesting.
ponder.
Yeah, but we don't always, and especially if we're selling online, we don't always get that feedback. I
Yeah,
know that, yeah, when I've sold, even in the gallery or something like that, if I've sometimes not even met the person who's bought my work. So yeah, we don't always know how our art will be taken and used.
yeah, yeah. You don't know. It's most of my work has been sold online. I've
Yeah.
sold in a gallery, but again, it's just you don't contact those people.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's sort of, I don't know how well, I don't know. I don't know what I don't I mean, I know the purpose of art, but yet I don't know the purpose of art.
Yeah. Or the more we think we know, the less we realize we do.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
It's
it's like, oh, you take a marketing course or a selling course, and I can sell an ice cube. I don't know
yeah.
how do you sell, something that one of a kind thing,
Mm.
you know? How do you sell
Yeah,
that?
especially, I don't know. I feel that it's a very, now online, particularly, a very flooded market,
Mm-hmm.
and so I- you can feel like you get a bit lost in amongst all of that.
Yeah, art is definitely flooded, you
Mm.
know, and it's just, again, how do you sell a one of a kind piece?
Mm.
Is somebody going to take a chance, you got people that are looking for a quick buck,
Mm.
a quick turnaround. And then there's the collector that's interested in your journey,
Yes.
sort of thing. And collectors are very skittish.
Yeah.
They are skittish. And
Mm.
rightfully so, I would be too. Because you have so many artists out there trying to sell you their work.
Yes.
You know, that was interesting when I did the tour set show down in Florida, and I was noticing some of the artists that were talking to the collectors, and all of them were trying to sell their work. I guess that's what you're supposed to do, but I just don't work that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was just having a regular conversation with
Yes.
them,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't
So,
know if you've found this. The times I've pushed marketing or felt like I have to sell, it really feels inauthentic. And I
mm-hmm,
think it's more like what you said, when you're just having that genuine conversation with someone sharing about a piece, or, there's been times where too, I haven't had to even sell a piece. It's just been a person has a connection and they love it. So they buy it,
yeah,
and that is kind of no effort on your part. And that feels a lot smoother, I guess you would say, but it doesn't always happen that way. So
yeah,
yeah, that what do you do with that as an artist? I guess
yeah. It's hard. Selling is the hard part,
yeah.
you know? That would be the bonus of a gallery, that they do the
Yes,
selling.
where you are the creative and then you have
Yeah, they have somebody
everything has
else.
its pros and cons.
Yeah, they can gladly take a percentage if they're the ones that are selling it. And,
Yeah.
I don't have to. If I'm doing the work, then I'm gonna get the profit,
Mm.
you know? So, yeah.
Yes. Yes, and that's right. When you are doing it all yourself and you're representing yourself, you're happy to take that because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a
It
lot.
just is. It's hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that it's building up when you're unknown, it's building up that collector base.
Yeah.
But that collector base can also change over time. That
Mm-hmm.
you may not get the repeat customer, or yeah.
Yeah. I had a few repeat customers,
Mm,
you know, um, which is nice.
yeah, yeah. So, Amy, going forward, do you have any like future explorations with art or things that you're wanting to try?
Mm. I t- Eventually I want to work back with resin,
Hmm.
you know, um, go a little bigger. I would like to
Yeah, just
try.
not 4 foot.
Not 4 foot. I'm not doing 4 foot. Not doing 4 foot. Um, I don't. I've always wanted to work with glass, like glass blowing, but that takes, you know, more than one person. So that's sort of out, which is why I like
It's amazing though, isn't it? I've
I,
always been fascinated by it. Yeah, it's
me
beautiful.
too. I love glass,
Yeah.
which is why I even got into resin because it was the closest to glass as I could
Ah,
get.
yeah, yeah, because it's got
You
that
know,
beautiful transparency to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, but there isn't anything really I can think of that I want to try per se. Maybe a little more sculpting. I started
Yeah.
getting into that more textured sculpting stuff on canvas, which was
Okay,
nice.
sort of like the relief type. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I did take a class online last year for
Mm.
the dimensional pieces, which I always wanted to try, but I could never get the stuff to work right. The
Uh-huh.
the light modeling place until I took the
Yeah, I was going to
class.
say the modeling
I
paste.
was
Yep.
like, oh, okay, now, okay, I want to do this. want to do this. But it takes a while to dry before
Yeah.
you can continue on. I
Mhm.
have 5 pieces now waiting for me to put ink down,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
So is that where you create the with the modeling paste, you create the texture and then you come in over the top with inks?
Yes, and
Yeah.
regular acrylics,
Yeah.
whatever I can find, I'll put on there.
Yeah.
Um, and I did really love it. And that's the thing, the 365 forces me to post
Mhm.
because I was working all last year, but hardly anybody saw what I, did because I didn't post it. Never
Yeah.
posted it.
Yeah. Which I guess, yeah, if you're not on social media, like I know I'm not at the moment, it's just you're doing work and having fun and that, but it's not being shown, which is,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
good
shame.
and bad.
I did incredible pieces last year, but nobody's seen it because I didn't post them. And then I feel
Oh,
bad
yeah,
posting 2 different pieces in a day,
right.
which is silly.
Yeah.
I should post those pieces because I had trouble at the beginning of the year. Midway through, I started getting my feet back,
Mm,
and
mm,
I was like, okay, get back to the intuitive, and I was happy with what I was producing.
yeah,
And then,
yeah,
the end of the year came and 365 took over again.
yeah, yeah. So that's your journey and where you are with creating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And do you have any advice to others or wisdom to share with creating art in 2024?
Allow the process to happen. Take your head out of it. Listen to music, listen to a podcast, listen to whatever, and
Mm.
just let yourself do it. That's my advice. Because
Yeah, I think that's
anybody can do it. Just trust the process and don't get bogged down. You
yeah.
know, that's the thing.
And I think that's beautiful about that intuitive process, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy, for being on the podcast. It's
Oh,
been awesome to chat.
I love chatting with you. Thank you for having me.
And where can people find you if they want to see your art? Where's the best place to go?
Twitter. Well, X, formerly known as Twitter. I think, what am I? Amy Nordby artist, I think, on Twitter. I have to
Well,
look.
I'll put those links in the show notes and
Yeah,
everything.
Amy Nordby artist on Twitter. I think I'm Amy Nordby the artist everywhere else, I think.
Okay. Cool.
But I'm on Facebook, Instagram, MeWe. Yeah, I'm still posting there. Truth, LinkedIn, Getter. You
Yeah.
know, those are the main ones that I post to.
Thank you for joining us on the Trailblazers Palette podcast. We appreciate your support. Don't forget to subscribe and share if you enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations with incredible guests. Keep blazing your trail, and until next time, stay inspired. This is Sancha, your host, signing off. See you soon, Trailblazers.